Thank you.
Can we quickly go into the last embargo, please? This is for 10:30 Sunday. So we'll kick off with Gary and then Adrian. If we can keep it a couple each, that'd be great. Thanks, Gary. Adrian.
Hi, Mikel. You mentioned that Patrick was sort of the captain in the most successful period. To what extent have Arsenal as a club had a problem moving on from legends who were around at that time, like Patrick and Dennis, and how good that team was, and to try and create new heroes? How difficult has that been for you as well as the club when you were a player as well as now as a manager?
Well, it is, because normally they become heroes when they are successful and when you win in football games and trophies. And to do that, obviously, you just need an individual. You need a squad, and you need a really good generation. And in this context, probably the best ever generation in the Premier League history to become champions of this league. Because the 12 points that they used to have today, it wouldn't be enough even today to win the Premier League. So that's very significant as well. But that has to be the aim. The club has done it in the past, and we are looking to do it again.
And see, everyone since Patrick, every midfield player since Patrick, including yourself and now Thomas, has been compared to him and the next Viera, or is he the next Viera? Can you explain what pressure that puts on you as a midfield player or your midfield players now? And do Arsenal actually have to break free of that at some point?
Well, I think when you get that comparison, you have to accept it straight away that till you don't win 3 or 4 Premier League titles, you're always going to be worse than the previous one, because he's already done it and you have just started. So for 3 or 4 years, prepare yourself that you're not going to be as good with every comparison, because it's impossible to achieve it in 3 weeks, and then just focus in what you are as a player, what you are asked by your manager to do, and be yourself and don't try to be anybody else.
You played against him in that 7-0 at Highbury, which I think it was his last game for Arsenal. Can you remember that, or any nuggets about that game?
No, that game I remember. The one that was mentioned in the Goodison Park. That game I remember perfectly.
Can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah, it was a nightmare, absolutely nightmare.
Why was it a night? Were you celebrating the
Champions You just said the score and how difficult it was and how good they were, and they were a sensational team.
And was there anything about Patrick?
Yeah, sorry, Gary, we're running a bit short time, so we'll move to Adrian. Sorry, Gary, we'll go to Adrian now. Thanks.
Hi, Mikel. You were talking earlier on about any conversations and contact you may have had with Patrick via the City Group. I wondered, was that a chance to even brief exchange ideas, talk about coaching, and kind of connected to that? What different challenges do his Palace team present to you now, maybe compared to Palace teams you managed against in the last couple of years?
Well, I think he's proposing a different style of play, very different to what Roy used to do. They want to be much more dominant. They play in a different formation as well. You can see some young players stepping up and really having a contribution. And I think he's establishing the team in the way that he wants. And it's like anybody. After you need the results to back that up.
And just to go back on the City Group meetings and any contact you had, was that a chance for both of you to discuss sort of coaching ideas, philosophies on the game? You both sort of
as I said, we haven't had that opportunity to spend time about talking about that.
Did you have a kind of understanding and appreciation of what he's done so far at Palace? Again, I know you said he'd had a couple of previous managerial jobs, but coming into the Premier League and trying to stamp your mark on a team is sort of your first job. Is there sort of an understanding from manager to manager you've got of what he's done so far?
Well, I suppose that he was really looking forward to do that step, and he's got the opportunity now to do it. Like we all sitting here, and now it's about proving ourselves that we can do it and we can be successul.
Can I just go back on Newcastle quickly, Mikel? Obviously, you had your time at City. You could see exactly what takeover could eventually do for club. I know you weren't there at the start, but you certainly were able to see the end. Is that, I mean, when you see the resources that Newcastle are going to have access to, is that almost, I don't know, maybe a concern as one of the rival clubs of what Newcastle could possibly become? And you've got some kind of, you're informed on it because you've seen it.
I don't know. I just want to focus in what we can do and keep making the right decisions for the football club to try to be as good as we can. We cannot control what others can do. And what they are entitled to do and they are preparing to do, we don't know. So we cannot change or control.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mikel.
That's it now,
Thank
guys.
you.